Welcome, everybody. I'm Cindy Robichaud. I'm the Vice Chair of the Kent Branch of the Ontario Geological Society. Welcome to our September meeting. We have many special guests here with us tonight. We have a member of the Provincial Parliament, representative from the City Council, representative from the Chatham-Kent Museum, the Chatham-Kent Public Library, the IODE, Gathering Our Heroes Project, and members from OGS across the Ontario, as well as members of the Ontario Geological Society's Board of Directors. We will begin with a brief bit of branch update. Then we'll have a short family history presentation. Then we'll present 2 Ontario Geological Awards. And finally, we'll show our appreciation to all of our branch volunteers, followed by, of course, cake and some social time. So let's begin. First, I need to mention that our meetings are live streamed and recorded. Many of our members are distant members, so they can't always attend. So they're able to join us virtually online. So hello to folks out in virtuality land. Also, if you need to go back and you missed something, you can go back and watch the recording at our website. As I mentioned, we're the Ontario Geological Society. We've been preserving family history and promoting family history for over 50 years. And there's 30-some branches and SIGs all across Ontario. We happen to be the Kent branch of the Ontario Geological Society. So we focus mainly on Kent County. We do Kent County family history and general history, mentoring, assisting. We hold classes, we have newsletters, monthly meetings such as this where we bring in different speakers and have a variety of topics. And we have a fantastic resource library housed inside the Chatham-Kent Public Library on the 2nd floor. And that's just an example of some of the things that we have. This is actually a gem. A lot of branches don't have a resource library like we do, so it definitely is one of our gems that we have. If you wish to contact us, we have a fantastic website, which we're always adding things to and updating. You can email the branch contact there. Plus, we also have a Facebook group. So jump on our Facebook group, and there's lots of information being shared there. Questions are being asked. All kinds of sharing going on. On the tables, instead of going through every single event, because we have a lot of events in Chatham-Kent that are happening and the surrounding areas, I just put a handout of this on the table so we can go quickly through it. But there's a lot of events coming up, and on the sheet on your table, there's a little more detail. So if you need more information, you can contact the person that I mentioned. One of our great things that we're trying, and we did last year, is family history classes, and they went over really, really well. So we're having some more in the fall. And again, there's some information on your table about it. And last but not least, on September the 13th is Positivity Day in Kent County. So think positive, act positive, let's be positive. I'm going to turn this section over to Colleen LeBay. She is our technical support chair, she's our library committee chair, and also our secretary.
Thank you. As you can see on the slide, we're looking for volunteers. We have lovely, wonderful volunteer opportunities. I think everyone is familiar with the phrase, many hands make light work, and we need your help. We've got, in each of these teams, or on a few of them, there's only one person. I think our newsletter team is probably the strongest one with a few helpers. Now, I've talked to a few people and they have said, you know, I used to volunteer in the library, but there's all that technology now, I don't know how to use it, so I don't feel comfortable. Well, let me tell you, we can help. If you want to volunteer, we're happy to show you how to use the computers, how to use the scanning equipment, and if you are feeling like you'd like to get into publishing a newsletter, we can even show you how to use the publishing software. All you need to do is ask. If you're interested, please come and talk to Cindy or myself or anyone on the branch council. Thank you.
Thanks, Colleen. So as every monthly meeting that we have a little presentation, talk about family history and all the great things that happen when you're doing family history. Tonight, two distant OGS members from the Toronto area, they have Kent County connections, and they offered to give us a taste of some humorous side of genealogy. First up is Mary Newell. Mary is pretty sure she can lay claim to a few famous properties throughout Ontario. So without further ado, Mary, we'd like to welcome you up.
Thank you, Cindy. A woman of properties. Genealogy presents one with many windows of opportunity. And I've discovered doors, parlors, porches, and roofs. Ancestors and real estate go hand in hand. Meet George Granger and his wife, Mary Brecken. Thanks to the maternal Grangers, I have access to Heritage House in Blenheim, Ontario. Asparagus, sour cherries, pickerel, and an indulgent aunt. Nice. Thanks to the Breckens, I am acquiring the Brecken House in Bronte Provincial Park. A holiday retreat, perhaps? The friends of Bronte Provincial Park may beg to differ, but we'll smooth things over. And aside, Jane Watt of Halton Peel Branch has advised me of her Brecken roots. How fortunate that there are two stories. Enter maternal Sheriff Motterer, the first sheriff of Perth County, Ontario. Thanks to his cousin, the Honorable William Richard Motherwell, Lanark Place, an Eastern Ontario style National Historic Site in Abernethy, Saskatchewan, may be mine for the taking. A fine Thanksgiving hangout? Too ambitious? I'll keep plying another honorable, Dr. Carolyn Bennett, with cake. Moving right along. One of Sheriff Motterwell's daughters married a shaver, which leads to this interesting NDP connection. The Applewood Shaver House in Etobicoke. I look forward to receiving OGS members here. My shaver connection, the son of Dr. Peter Shaver, Perth County coroner, was blessed with a Hess granny. This has potential. As a Hamilton Ticats fan, my husband Chris is pleased. Enter Dr. Joseph Workman. Two of his sons married two of the sheriff's daughters. As age overtakes me and extreme megalomania takes over, I plan to reside in the new and improved version of Dr. Workman's asylum. Bring on the sheriff's eldest child, Maggie Motterwell Kay, showing with her two sons. The eldest, Major George Kay was treasurer of the Stratford War Memorial. His correspondence with the esteemed sculptor, Mr. Walter Allward, was an exciting find. So when no one's looking, my final patch of property may be under one of these trees near the ridge and Mr. Allward's finest work. I do have a legitimate Bimmy connection, but that's another story.
So when are you serving tea? Every family historian can relate to becoming sidetracked while doing research. To give us an example of how he was sidetracked, please welcome Chris Alot.
Bransby to Wallaroo to Moose Jaw, or England's Yorkshire to coastal South Australia, to present-day Saskatchewan, distant places all. This is really about getting distracted, something that most of us who love doing research know all about. And this is how it happened to me. Several years ago, I made a pilgrimage to my North Yorkshire homeland in England's James Herrick country. Opportunity arose to visit my wife Mary's Granger ancestors in a little rural churchyard at Bransby, some 15 miles north of the city of York. As an aside, Grangers emigrated to Canada via the United States in the 1830s, and some of them ended up in Elgin and Kent. Two of them rest the other side of Ridgetown in Dewart Cemetery. And at least two living descendants are here tonight in this room. Back to the eastern parts of North Yorkshire. We had been entrusted with the key to the little village church, one called by historians an original example of English Renaissance, a real charmer. This is where the garden path veered off. A marbled remembrance for two young brothers. John Reginald Frank, dead at 22 in Moose Jaw, Canada. Septimus Gordon Frank, dead short of his 23rd birthday at sea nearing South Australia. Of course, curiosity takes over. What happened to them? Both John and Septimus, yes, he is the seventh child, seek fortunes beyond Bransby, as an older brother would inherit the farm. The 1901 UK census shows John living with his older brother near home base, apprenticing as a corn merchant. 3 years later, a Canadian Pacific ship's list of passengers shows John reaching Montreal aboard the Ionian in early May of 1904, on his way to Winnipeg. As the Marble Memorials show, John's time in Canada would come to a quick end after only 4 months. I have connected with a Moose Jaw area genealogist who is helping me search for more about John's fate. She sent me these vivid monumental inscription images. And there's the bottom of it. His death occurred 1 year prior to Saskatchewan becoming a province. For that reason, John Reginald Frank's demise shows up in Canada's records for the Northwest Territories Assiniboia District. Cause of death, of course, remains confidential. And an archival search of the Moose Jaw Times Herald's antecedents so far has turned up no hits. As for Septimus, the records are more complete. The British Merchant Marine Academy, HMS Conway, has an amazingly thorough website. We find that Septimus graduated from there in 1900, earned this certificate of competency as second mate of a foreign-going ship in 1905, and is remembered in the Academy's memorial book. He sailed the world as junior officer aboard the bark Inverlion, only to die awfully off the South Australian coast. An inquest found his death to be accidental, having been struck on the head by a turning winch handle. Shipmates said Septimus was well liked by all on board and was a steady, temperate, reliable officer. While digging here through the great Australian newspaper archive called Trove, questions arose about the ship. Was it the right Inverlion? ClydeShips.co.uk is a fascinating Scottish-based shipbuilding website. It tells me that Milne & Company's original Inverlion, a steel-hulled three-masted bark built in 1893, sank at sea in a 1904 collision, and that the owners bought another vessel, renaming it Inverlion. Do not confuse, the record succinctly says. Via the internet, I met Kim of Genealogy South Australia, and she forwarded this image. Septimus is at rest in Wallaroo along the Spencer Gulf shores, west of Adelaide, Australia. These two young men died thousands of miles away from their Yorkshire home. Yorkshire land records and censuses show that they had left an area of relative affluence, which today is known for thoroughbred horse breeding. Their father and uncle together owned more than 600 acres of productive farmland. But, not uncommonly, the inheritance went to the eldest sibling. So off they went. What have I learned from all this diverting when I should have been paying more attention to Mary's and my own families? Do reach far and wide, making use of non-traditional information sources. Life for early migrants to Canada's prairies region was harsh. The stories linking young adventurous travelers are compelling. One more thought to share. Had John and Septimus lived beyond 1904 and 1907, I wonder what fate might have awaited them before another decade was done. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. I apologize about the sound. We're still trying to tweak it and work with it, so. Each year, the Ontario Genealogical Society recognizes outstanding achievements and commitment of individuals and organizations in the promotion and preservation of our heritage. The Kent branch of the Ontario Genealogical Society this spring submitted 2 nominations for 2 local groups for the Award of Merit. On your table is an explanation of what the Award of Merit is, a summary. And also the nominations for each of the group is also a copies on your table as well if you want to take a look and pass it around. Both of these groups were accepted. The Chatham Public Library for their digital collection, and the Gathering Our Heroes project. We're lucky to have with us Steve Fulton, the Vice President of the Ontario Genealogical Society, to present the awards. Please welcome Steve.
All right. Thank you, Cindy. Cindy's in charge. She knows what she's doing. I just showed up. Thank you for all attending tonight. What an excellent turnout this is. It's an opportunity to celebrate volunteers and people who have done projects that have come together in partnership in whatever means to digitize records, to get them out and get them to the lonely genealogist or historian that is working hours away in a basement trying to connect to the past. Because you know you're all guilty of it, because I am too. So we're just going to hand out the awards, and then we'll have a few words from our dignitaries, and then go from there. So which one do you want to do first?
For the library.
All right, let's make sure this thing doesn't. All right. So who's?
Gotta be over here.
I have to be over there. Okay. Then Cindy has to play band. All right. So the award of merit, as Cindy said, is on your table explaining what it is. It is an amazing award, and it's for amazing people who have done amazing work. And I can't say amazing so many times, but it's just superior. So on behalf of the Ontario Genealogical Society, a representative from the library would be Andrea.
Yeah.
So Andrea, come on, and thank you very kindly.
Yeah.
And all the work you've done, all the work you said was on the tables of what they've done, and I'll move this. Get it? Okay. Thank you very much.
Collection. The library has some flyers up here that will explain the whole collection and how to access it.
Well, make sure I grab one of them. So let's grab the other three, because I've been told I can't move. The ladies have spoken. And that's really annoying. So this one here is a three-part award. And from what I've read from it, and like I said, I will speak a little bit further on it down the road, but again, another amazing piece of work done by three individual groups or three individuals. And I just want to offer my congratulations to them. So we need a representative of the Imperial Order Daughters of the Empire. Who shall that be? And that is, we'll need you to hold on to that. And I was sent to say Jerry. Where is Jerry? There's Jerry. They said if I said Jerry, that means I know you really well. We'll have coffee later, then we'll figure it out. Thank you. All right. And the museum, the Chatham-Kent Museum. There you go, Stephanie. So we're going to, you want us out from behind this? Or? All right, much perfect.
The two ladies this way, so they're not getting blinded.
Closer, Jared.
There you go. He's on it, now we get to know it. Good? Yeah. Oh, hang on, one more and then. On behalf of the Ontario Genealogical Society, thank you very much for all the work that you've done, and congratulations. All right.
And for anyone who's not familiar with the Gathering Our Heroes project, there's also some pamphlets here. Feel free to pick one up and learn a little bit more about it. So I'd like to ask Mr. Nichols if you'd like to come up and say a few words.
Thanks very much, Cindy. First of all, it's a real honor for me to be here today, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here. The invitation came in my office. It's been kind of a crazy summer. They think that we're usually on vacation, and well, we're really not. And we get to go back to Toronto on Sunday to start it all over again on Monday. But I heard the mention about the Positivity Day, September 13th, and I thought to myself, maybe I should be around for that, simply because, they say, Rick, you're such a positive guy. And I would agree with that. As a matter of fact, someone said, Rick, you're so positive that you go after Moby Dick in a rowboat and bring along the tartar sauce. Well, I'm not so sure about that. I'm really not so sure about this. But again, it's an honor for me to attend your Award of Merit invitation and ceremony this evening, and I really thank you for that. I can call him Jerry because I've known Jerry for a long time, for many, many years. Again, congratulations to Jerry and Stephanie. And I didn't catch the name of the lady from the Daughters of the Empire. Oh, God, thank you. Forgive me, I missed that. And then, of course, the Township Museum, Andrea? From the library. So again, this is really, really special. When I saw the word digitization, I thought to myself, wow, does that mean no more microfiche? And the answer is yes. If you've ever had to work with microfiche, as I've had to in past years, when I used to work at Union Gas, it was like, boy, I'll tell you, if you didn't have to wear glasses before you started, you definitely had to wear them afterwards and whatnot. But listen, thank you so very, very much, Steph. Cindy, you mentioned only a few words, so I'll keep it short. I'll cut it off right about here. And again, congratulations to the recipients. It's a real honor for me to be here and to attest and to witness, your success. Thank you for all the work that you've done, and I'm sure that the Genealogical Society are also very, very grateful for all that help, because you probably saved them countless hours and countless hours. So again, thank you very much.
I'd like to invite a member from the City Council to come as well. David? Stand down. Sorry.
Well, thank you very much, Cindy. I have to say it's quite an honor to be here. I truly believe this is a very nice way to end a busy day and to end a great week. And for me, it's been a very interesting week because I had my oldest son attend high school, so it's been a week of learning and trials and tribulations, and we've got through it. And my good friend Rick Nichols is here, and it's always good to see politicians in a room that you can sort of chat with and see how they've been doing during the summer, because we don't get a chance to touch base a lot because we are busy. And good to see you here too, Steve, and comment on all the amazing work that this group does and the amazing awards. And I'm here to sort of applaud you for all the work that you've done. And one thing I might add, the position that I'm in is always full of opportunity. And I say that because we're always exposed to great people and new opportunities. And even though I've heard of the Geological Society, it's nice to have a Kent branch, and a Kent branch that does some incredible things, and closer to home, more specifically, Kent Library. So without any further ado, I'd like to call upon Andrea and present the award on behalf of the Mayor and Council for your digitization process of 78 directories and 35 books, so that future generations will be able to benefit from the work that you do. Congratulations. Is that?
Steve, did you have any more comments on the
Was it me or calling?
awards situation?
Like 30 seconds? All
Steve's 30 seconds is another person's
Hour. Hour.
That's his wife.
Again, welcome and thank you for your comments and thank you for your work. On behalf of the Ontario Genealogical Society, if you know much about the organization, we're 99.5% driven by volunteers. There's 2 paid staff, so maybe my math's a little out, but you know, we're driven by a volunteer organization. And staff, along with volunteers, need to be recognized. And we need to be recognized, and they need to be recognized all the time. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We need to go through the room and thank each person individually for the work they do. It's great that we can hand out awards to people that have done the work diligently each and every day. But I truly, truly believe that every one of you in this room should get an award as well. Just earlier this week, I got told a very sad story. I'll take it just a second to share. We had an opportunity to go to the Thorold City Council in where we're from in Niagara. We're working on creating a museum there in the Niagara branch that I'm chair of, and the Thorold and Beaver Dams Historical Society, we're now creating a museum. We had an opportunity to speak to council to kind of give them an update of what's going on. But before that presentation, we're speaking to another gentleman, part of a hunting club, and that hunting club will remain nameless. And they informed us they acquired a SS school in the city of Welland back in the 1800s. And when they acquired it, they found all the books and papers and everything in the building. So they thought, well, what a better way to heat the building? I know, we're all going to need to see a therapist after this. They've earned it all. But what's reassuring is that there's people like you and you and you and you that are in this room dedicated on a professional level, on a volunteer level, interested, willing to talk. Because I guarantee at least 3 of you in here tonight told someone you're coming to this meeting. And maybe they're not into genealogy or they're not into history, but they now know. So when a group like that comes forward and says, hey, we've got this document, what can we do with it? And they'll remember that conversation. And the other thing I noticed when I was reading the breakdown of all the awards is the partnerships. Where the professional services and the volunteer services, we know the libraries and museums who have tight budgets, and you know, the purse string only goes so far. That's where the volunteers can step in. That's where the help can come. It's breaking down the sand and the sides of the sandbox and playing together to get the job done, to preserve our heritage for our kids, our grandkids going forward. Because without you folks, I don't care what anybody says, you're boots on the ground and you're important. And the Ontario Genealogical Society recognizes that and wishes to support each and every one of you, including the Kent branch in this area. So thank you very kindly for coming tonight, and I'll turn it back over to Cindy.
Last but certainly not least, we wish to thank each and every person who has volunteered, as Steve has mentioned, to go around the room and say thank you, thank you, thank you to every single one of you for assisting over the years. I'd like to call on Colleen to come back up to say a few words about our volunteers.
Thank you, Cindy. Just before I do that, because when I'm finished, we're all going to go eat cake. There's a nice, There's a nice gentleman here from Chatham this week, and he would like to get some pictures of the award recipients. So when we're finished, if you wouldn't mind just sticking around, and we'll set you up somewhere to get the pictures taken. I'm not really sure how to follow Steve with that great talk about volunteers, but Cindy mentioned that it is World Positivity Day on Monday. We're meeting tonight. We're not going to meet on Monday. So we're going to celebrate our volunteers tonight. And World Positivity Day is a day set aside to concentrate on all things positive. The municipality is having a community-wide celebration. And we're going to celebrate Positivity Day by thanking you, our volunteers. I have a quote. Herman Melville, I don't really know who he is, but he has an awesome quote. We cannot live only for ourselves. 1,000 fibers connect us to our fellow men. Now, as family historians, you all get that because you feel a desperate need to make connections to your past. When you volunteer and give of yourself and your time, you're making connections in the present and establishing those connections for the future. And it's those connections that make our branch wonderful. With our volunteers, we wouldn't have branch, and we wouldn't have that absolute gem that's sitting in a room at the Chatham County Public Library. That is our treasure. So we've got a couple of ways that we're going to recognize our volunteers tonight. First of all, if you look on your tables, there are some, I'll call them centerpieces, that have some sayings about volunteers. I think they're very inspirational. There are also some, we'll call them, what should we call them? Takeaways. Takeaways. A nice little representation of our branch and a thank you for our volunteers. And I also have in my hand some thank you notes for our volunteers. Now I have a funny story to tell you about our thank you notes. When we decided how we were going to celebrate, we wanted to write personal notes, and we decided that we should sign all of those notes. And the secretary, yes, that's me, very efficiently lined up the note cards and asked everyone to sign them. What I didn't check was that all the note cards were lined up the same. So you may be one of the lucky ones that gets a note card where the writing's upside down. It's a feature that I came up with. Just an added bonus to your note. We also have a few door prizes. So you were given a ticket when you came in the door. I'm not going to draw them right now. Once you are mowing down on your cake, we will announce the numbers. And those door prizes are over at the side. They're nice little chalkboards with a little chalk marker, which are really neat. I really want to write on one of those chalkboards. So on behalf of the branch, I want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to all of our volunteers, because without you, we would not have what we have. If you leave tonight and we have not given you a thank you card and you are sure that we probably should have given you a thank you card, please come see me. We've done our best to try and catch everyone, but some of you snuck in the other door, so we may not have seen you come in. Anything else in? Cake's up next.
Yes, cake is up next. Oh, actually, before my little closing remark, I have a little something that Steve would like to donate to the branch.
So I guess you're the de facto important person in the library.
Well, no, I'm not the important
Well,
person.
you're-
All the people that come to volunteer.
Well, then we should get them all.
We should.
So who are they?
Let's see, we've got Fran and Judy.
Let's get Fran up. We'll just make fun of Fran.
Okay.
Come on, Fran. I've been waiting all year to do this.
I know you have.
And there's probably maybe one or two more people.
Yeah.
Okay, Diane and, I think we should have Lynn Clark, Lynn and Helen Clark come up. Did we get, is that enough?
Yeah, that's okay. All right.
Well, I'm gonna do the backyard.
What about Cindy behind you?
Cindy just said she's gonna pass. That's all right, we'll embarrass her some other time.
Oh, joy, what are we getting?
No, some people don't know that Colleen and I are on the original technical team, so we kind of, this is a regular routine for us. So, as some of you are aware, I'm also chair of the Niagara Peninsula branch. Yeah. And we have just recently moved, and I can't do this. But we discovered when we moved a original copy from 1904 of the commemorative bibliographical record of the County of Kent. And on behalf of the Niagara Peninsula
Steve,
branch.
say the name again, did you
I'm reading this upside down. The commemorative biographical record of the County of Kent, Ontario.
The 1904 print. And on behalf of the Niagara Peninsula branch, we officially transfer ownership to the Kent branch.
So I just want to say thank you on behalf of the Kent branch to everyone online and to all our guests in-house tonight. Thank you, Dawn, for coming out to the media. We appreciate that. I'd like to thank the branch councils as well, who work on behalf, as Stephen said, on your behalf each and every day. If you're feeling comfortable, I'm not sure that everybody knows who works for the Kent Council branch, so I'd like you to stand up if you don't mind. Judy Bouchard is our past chair. Val Butterfield is our treasurer. Linda Patterson, publicity. Fran Barco is our publications person. Jill Johnson is our web person, webmaster. Colleen, which has 2 or 3 hats going on right now. And you. And Jane Teskey, who's on, hopefully online. She's actually Elizabeth Trolia. She does our membership. And Elizabeth Beckman, who is probably also online, who does our social media committee. So, and hopefully we'll be naming a lot more of you very, very soon. So finally, we'd like to also say thank you to the McKinley family for allowing us each month to come and have our meetings here. So without further ado, we'll enjoy some cake and some socialization, and I believe there's door prizes and things to come to. So thank you very much for coming out tonight.